So for this video, I'm going to show you how we're going to use those properties of parallelograms to write equations. So this one, we're going to start with finding the value of r. So we got to locate r. So it looks like r is the measure of this side, wx, and then we know opposite sides are congruent. So those match for zw. So all our equations going to be, since they're congruent, 4r equals 18. Just divide each of them by 4. And then so we get r is 4.5. Let's go on to the next one. So yes, some of these are going to be pretty fast. We want to find s. So s here is supposed to represent this diagonal, and the other s here is supposed to represent this diagonal. So because diagonals bisect each other, that means they cut each other in half, so the two halves here are congruent. So I automatically know that these two lengths are the same. So I'm going to have 8s equals 7s plus 3. So we're going to subtract 7s from both sides. And so we get s equals 3. And that's it. Let's go on to the next one. So this one, it asks for t. So t here is not measuring the entire angle. It's only measuring this little part of the angle. So we do know opposite angles are congruent, but we got to figure out, well, which one of those angles is the same as? So if we go back to when we learned about parallel lines, we had the angles that made the z, so our alternate interior angles. So it's going to be exact opposite, that 2t is going to match with the 18. So we're going to put 2t equals 18, then of course divide by 2, so t equals 9. Last thing we need to talk about is a little bit of coordinate geometry. So that means we have coordinates, and we're going to find a coordinate that they're looking for. So what are the coordinates of the intersection of the diagonals of a parallelogram? So again, remember we mentioned that diagonals bisect. So that means where they intersect is the midpoint of both of them. So we have to go back over our midpoint formula, which was x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2. So how do we know which ones are diagonals? So I'm just going to draw a random parallelogram here. And when we label it, it's got to go around clockwise. So be M, N, P, R. So make sure it goes around in a circle. So that means my first diagonal here is M and P. So I'm going to write down the coordinate for M. And then I'm going to write down the coordinate for P. Remember, it goes x1, y1, x2, y2. So when we plug it in our formula, x1 would be -3 plus 5 over 2. And then your y1 would be 0, and then plus 4 over 2. So -3 plus 5 would be 2 divided by 2. 0 plus 4 would be 4 divided by 2. So then our coordinate, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Our coordinate would be 1, 2. We want to double check that the other one is also the same, so our other diagonal here is Rn. So I'm going to start by writing down the coordinate for R, and then the coordinate for N. And then we again plug it in that formula, remembering that this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So then we get 3 plus -1 over 2, and then 1 plus 3 over 2. So 3 plus -1 would be 2 over 2. 1 plus 3 would be 4 over 2. So again, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the point at which they intersect is the coordinate 1, 2.